It's golden hour outside the church, and two figures sit etched in the day's last sun. Brother and sister, siblings brinking on times of transition. They have known this place their whole lives, the gorse and stone and salted promise of nearby sea. It is autumn, the darkening half of the year, and the minutes until twilight seem like days. Burd Ellen is a sweet girl, but quiet, always looking at things a little longer than she should, as if there is something to see beyond its shape and colour. She does it with heather and roses and honeysuckle breeze. She does it with her neighbours' faces and unexplained shapes in the landscape. Childe Rowland is logical, mathematical, precise. He has no time for uncertain otherings. Silly of Ellen, really, to spend such time in the imagining, jabbering on about how things used to be. Fantastical whimsy, no good for anything in the real world. They come to the church on some empty afternoons to fill the time. It always seems to mean more to her than it does to him. Soon, Rowland is trying to land a ball in the gargoyle's mouth, a grimacing face mounted high in the sky on the church tower. It is a trick he has managed just once before, and he is forever trying to do it again.
Stop it! You're going to break something.
No, it's all about the angle. If I could just...
If you knock the gargoyle's teeth out or something, it'll be bad luck. The Erlking with his fairy train might come and snatch you. How is it supposed to scare away outsiders and, protect us without any teeth?
The who with his what? Look, one, I'm not going to knock its teeth out, and two, you're doing that thing again.
Which thing?
The gargoyles have feelings too thing.
Perhaps they do.
They definitely don't.
How do you know? Have you asked it?
Funnily enough, no.
Then don't be so presumptuous, child.
For the last time, Ellen, I'm not child.
In the language of stones you are. Childe Rowland and Burd Ellen. It rolls off the tongue well, doesn't it? Childe and Burd actually mean...
Yeah, whatever.
But did you know Britain was supposedly named after a warrior, Brutus, who defeated all the giants
A cute story. Needs more dragons.
Well, there's always George and the dragon, or if you're after magic...
I'm really not.
Well, there's this great story about a warlock who leaves his heart enclosed in a box swallowed by a bird that flies in a great church in a lonesome land. So long as the bird is not caught and his heart is safe, he cannot die.
So long as my heart is safe, I cannot die.
Stop it! For once. Please treat a story with a little respect and stop looking at me like you're tolerating a baby.
Well, it's stupid.
It isn't. They matter. They all matter. Imagine being able to hide something you hold most close to your heart in the safest place possible. I hate how all the stories are being forgotten. They must be kept safe and secure.
Okay, cool, whatever. Check this out.
Wait!
The ball went further than either could have imagined. Caught on an impossible breeze, it sailed over the church and hit the gargoyle squarely in the mouth. Something cracked.
How could you? How could you?
Whoops.
It's not funny. It's horrific. It's monstrous and terribly, terribly sad. How could you?
Ellen raced away from her brother, no thought in her mind but putting as much distance between herself and his sneers as possible. Once reaching the church, without thought she raced right. It's funny, those little crossroad moments, where one flip of the coin creates a completely new route. Ellen turned anti-clockwise, left-hand-wise round the church. Widdershins. Against time, against fate, against nature. The movement that raises hair on the arms. Pilgrims know to start their journey stepping with time, but Burd Ellen's journey was not this long walk across countries. Burd Ellen's journey was of a different sort. But let's not worry over this. Twilight is ever so long away. Rowland was not so far behind, turning left, right-hand-wise round the church, Diesel way. The way of the sun. Ellen raced right. Childe Rowland ran left. He retrieves the ball, laughing, expecting to have bested his sister in flight. He turns round to share the joke. He is alone. Smiling at being made the seeker, he runs back to where they began. Nothing. He retraces his steps and circles the church, afraid to call out because that would make it real. Burd Ellen is gone. Twilight comes all at once. The sky is darkening to the colour of crow time, cock shut. Have you ever noticed, when out at dusk, how night doesn't fall down from the sky but rises up from the earth? Rowland is caught in twilight, the between light of not day and not night, a liminal phase known only for playing tricks of time.
Ellen? Where are you hidden?
A voice from the same place as sorrow replies.
A question for a question. Where has the young thing gone in the last golden days of childhood? By the golden hour with a golden ball. Some minds wander or dream in the yew, and awake on the other side of things.
Right, you've made your point. Perhaps the gargoyle did bring bad luck. I feel very strange. You can come out now.
A voice like wind through rafters replies.
A feeling for a feeling. Black thought brown brought into the home. Croak of grave look over a grave and 3 black cows in a row. Tap tap of thrown magpie on the window. A rattling to the church door. The going widdershins around before. What a heavy tone in the way the bell sings. This is the way to the other side of things.
I must find my sister. I must.
A grandfatherly voice replies in an old story tongue.
A must for a must. This is a dangerous quest, my son. A tithe must be paid, a sacrifice of security won. And only the bravest knight in Christendom could, once gone, return again from Elfland.
The voice had barely faded before Rowland breaks out of the spell and follows Burd Ellen's route. But what was her route, we might wonder? How might she so run and then vanish completely? They are stepping stones, flagstones, finding flight of philosophy, strong stones, solvent stones that pave this path of hers. Circumstance and chance, mind and heart and happenstance. Logic must be all but absented for this twisting route to be manifested. A way of looking at things a little longer, as if there is something to see beyond its shape and colour timed with the right light, the right place, and the wrong direction. Rowland is a creature of logic. He does not focus on the flights of humblebees, of whistling spiders in the cobwebbed breeze. He does not want to dwell in dreaming of the worlds in parallel. But a quest is a quest, and a choice true and honest unlocks a direction that leads to his promise. His North Star determined, the pathway unfurls, and so widdershins turns he into this new world. The churchyard is quiet. The first stars twinkle bright. To my eye or yours, it is simply twilight.
of the song I sang as I sat alone. Ages and ages have fallen on me, on the wood and the pool and the elder tree.
The room seems too large, too empty. Two figures loom, small in the gloom of enveloping black. One is stone overgrown by the moss at his back, one a dark faceless shadow at the end of our track. The hump of their shapes, twisted and burned, cannot be thought human no matter which way you turn. The church grim,
guarder of graves, defender of the dead, omen of nightmare,
and a gargoyle,
personification of scarecrow, king among drain pipes, spouter of waste,
are deep in conversation.
Soon the old warlock came home. He was ailing and said so. The girl wept and said, "Alas, you are dying. You have a heart in your breast after all." "Child," replied the warlock, "hold your tongue. I can't die, for my heart is in the box, swallowed by the bird that flies in the empty church, in a lonesome land."
Of course, such a church would be a sanctuary. Does he survive?
I'm not certain I remember. The stories seem to be vanishing ever more quickly. Do you think perhaps the Erlking took it?
Oh, the Erlking. Now that's a name we mustn't speak too loudly. Woe betide anyone who meets him down a lonely road. Which version of his story do you remember?
An old one. The beat helps. If I can just remember the rhythm. Ah, yes, I have it. Who rides there so late through the night dark and drear? The father it is with his infant so dear. He holdeth the boy tightly clasped in his arm. He holdeth him safely, he keepeth him warm. My son, wherefore seekest thy face thus to hide? Look, father, the Erlking is close by our side. Does see not the Erlking with crown and with train? My son, 'tis the mist rising over the plain. Wilt go then, dear infant, wilt go with me there? My daughters shall tend thee with sisterly care. My daughters by night their glad festival keep. They'll dance thee and rock thee and sing with your sleep. My father, and dost thou not see how the Erlking his daughters has brought here for me? My darling, I see it all right. 'Tis the aged grey willows deceiving thy sight. I love thee, I'm charmed by thy beauty, dear boy. If thou art unwilling, then force I'll employ. My father, he seizes me fast. Full sorely the Erlking has hurt me at last. The father now gallops with terror half wild. He grasps in his arms the poor shuddering child. He reaches his courtyard with toil and with dread. The child in his arms finds he motionless, dead.
Excuse me.
Ah, it's hideous, bold and fleshy. What is this creature that has entered with such sneak and presumption?
I didn't sneak, and I have a very appropriate amount of flesh and hair, thank you. What is this place?
You do not know? It's worse than we thought, Gargoyle. Much worse than imagined. The forgetting is already upon us. This is a crossing path, a betwixt and between, a neverwhere of dreams, remembering and forgetting. This is the road to the other side of things.
Wow. What a helpful answer.
The palace where memories, stories and tales come here to live, come here to dwell. Higgledy-piggledy, all pell-mell. You stumbled on through the westward door, called a portal to those who speak in the language of stone. This world is not the same as yours. Time is different on the twist of this knife. You move not through space, but through landmarks of life. Moments of strife and events clump together, congregate close, birds of a feather.
Right. Who are you? If you don't mind me asking. And if you can say it without rhyming.
I have no name. My duty is church grim.
He started life as a dog, a sweet little thing with a roan-speckled tuft. He sacrificed his life to save his mistress from taking up the mantle. And what thanks did he get? A forgetting. Life's a bitch, eh?
I guard the graveyard and the dead. I have been here almost as long as the yew tree, and that was there before the building itself. Old yew, which graspest at the stones, thy roots are wrapped about the bones, but no more. The trees have stopped speaking, and such things are not safe here.
I am Gargoyle.
He didn't ask.
I protect this space and scare away outsiders with my gruesome visage. You should have seen my teeth. So wonderfully hideous, I could scare away death himself.
Not likely.
That is until some son of a rainspout thought it would be clever to hit me in the mouth with a ball. I was hanging on until then. Now I feel myself crumbling a little at the edges, disintegrating. Grim, the warlock story, I can't remember it anymore.
Oh, no, you will again soon. Someone cannot share, and so the very fabric of our reality is folding. Someone is stealing the stories.
Stories like what?
Like mine. Like yours.
My life's not a story, but I'm not going to argue with a gargoyle. Look, I'm looking for my sister. Have you seen her?
Who is your sister?
Burd Allen?
Oh, then you must be Childe. Grim, I remembered something. When a knight won his spurs...
I'm not a child.
You misunderstand. In the language of stones, Burd is young woman, Childe young man. He on the brink between squire and knight. It is a good, fitting title. Be proud of it.
A child is just who we need to save us from the forgetting. Save our world from being stolen. He was gentle and brave. He was gallant
But
and...
stolen by who?
The Erlking.
The Erlking.
Shush!
Some say he goes by the name of Merman Rosmer, or Hogan, or that he lives in the Dark Tower.
Some say he snatches children from the grip of their parents and haunts the forest with the vicious fey folk.
His favourite prey are girls foolish enough to run widdershins round a church.
Widdershins? But, Burd Allen, might the Erlking have taken my sister? I must find her. Did you say the Erlking lives here, on the other side of things?
Yes, to our chagrin.
How do I reach him?
It is brave of you, child, to offer help to save us from this tyrant.
That's not quite what I...
But be very sure of what you are offering before you attempt it, child.
I'm not a child.
Anyone sane should turn Diesel, sunwise, and return to the right side of things. Most likely, your sister is already there.
And if she is not?
Round the church to ringing bells, you find the world of parallels. But be careful, child. The Erlking resides at the very end of our world, past 5 keystones of life,
through which you are hurled.
The Erlking lives beyond death. He demands a tithe from anyone who wishes enter his domain. Bring him part of the stories you seek, and he may, just may, be willing to speak.
A tithe? Like a tax, but in stories.
Be warned, child.
I'm not child.
The Erlking's greed leaves this world so cracked. Each keystone holds but one story intact. These you must take, 'tis the Erlking's price. But just this, my child, will not suffice. Fail this quest, and the stories will fall. Defeat means your capture, and dooming us all.
I will go.
Wait. You need a story from here for the Erlking's gate. I offer mine freely. My soul you must scythe. Forgetting for now, succeed and I'll thrive. Take my story, turn widdershins straight, and in this way I'll help you change fate.
And though back into Storyland giants have fled, and the knights are no more, and the dragons are dead.
The first thing that strikes Childe Rowland about the other side of things is that it is exactly the same shape as, well, his side of things. But it doesn't feel the same. The ceiling seems to disappear to the stars. He can't quite see the top. How old are the shadows?
What a peculiar thought. How old are the shadows? Well, of course the shadows are as old as the thing they shadow, or as old as the light shining on the thing they shadow. But then, how old is the light? Oh, well, bother. It's meant to be Ellen asking these useless questions.
That's right, Rowland. Stories are but stories, words but words. Who knew figments of his imagination could be so absurd? The path was clear, his task straightforward, and soon he would be back to a world where equations balanced. He hears voices, distant though without source, as if they are pushing through the walls towards him. They centre and echo from the font, now a pool of iridescence.
Children. Of course, they said the path was shaped like a life, so this must be the beginning. I'm sure Ellen said something once about this part of the building being the place of the stories of childhood, that the church itself is a map, with a nave creating the journey through life, from opening and beginning to marriage and then burial. Is that a story fragment? If I could just reach in, grab one and be on my way.
At the touch of his hand, the barrier breached. Untethered moments overwhelm his reach. The tide is stronger than it seemed the pool could hold.
Fletcher of Arrows.
I'll baptise it myself in the trough if I have to.
Wet!
Hurry, he's dying!
The priest doesn't get here in time, the child is damned.
The sheep's in the meadow, the roses in thorn. Rest now and play with the children unborn.
Godparents? 3 or 4?
One face in the moving water becomes clear. Many scenes from many times, but all are pinned to one child. The centre point. The keystone.
Seesaw, Marjorie Daw.
There are so many... Focus, Rowland. One scene at a time. What's that? What's going on here?
Ding dong bell, pussy's in the well. Who put her in? Little Johnny Thin. Who pulled her out? Little Johnny Stout, what a naughty boy was that, to drown a pussycat who never did any harm but scared all the mice in the farmer's barn.
Bah!
Pardon?
I'm playing the sheep in the Nativity.
What sound does a lobster make?
I'm playing a shepherd. That means I can herd you.
No, you can't. It's not fair. I wanted to play Gogglebog the Giant, but they wouldn't let me.
Gogglebog wasn't in the Nativity, Mary.
Anyway, why is it just sheep?
Why doesn't it actually have a name? How am I supposed to get into character without a name?
Sheep are lucky. They're safe without a name. I've heard there's less chance of the Erlking taking you if even you don't know your true name.
True name? It slipped away. Everything is spinning again.
Ding dong bell, here's our little spell. Clipping we go, as the sun does glow. One will remain, one unbroken chain. Children embrace this merriest of space. Now we'll hold hands, now we'll face out, then around we dance.
Everyone, the church clipping is beginning. So, children, make sure to find a spot in the circle. We'll follow the ceremony with drinks and nibbles inside.
Why are we dancing? What's clipping the church?
Oh, we do it every year. You don't know about it? Come, have a spot next to me. What's your name?
Roland, what's yours?
Oh, that's Mary. I'm Martha. But I'll tell you my true name if you tell me yours.
Don't do that. That's dangerous.
Dangerous? Why?
Ding dong bell, careful who you tell. Who listens in? The wicked elf king.
What does he do?
He snatches me and you.
How does he call?
By naming you in full, so you sorely are to blame. You freely share your given name.
Grant that the old Adam in this child may be so buried, that the new man may be raised up in him. Grant that all carnal affections may die in him, and that all things belonging to the Spirit may live and grow in him. Grant that he may have power and strength to have victory, and to triumph against the devil, the world, and the flesh. And so may we know henceforth among friends to be hidden eternally from the Erlking's grip, that which makes us most vulnerable to attack or seizure, the full, true, and given name. Name this child.
Rowan Mary Fletcher.
There's a story fragment. Got it!
He's been taken. The Erlking has him.
Wait, what? I'm not the Erlking.
As Grimm had foretold, the keystone of life will crack and fray at the taking of stories, at the taking of names.
Ding dong bell, you tell. What does he do? He snatches me and you. How does he call? By naming you in full, so you solely are to blame if you freely share your given name.
The clipping dance falters, uncut and untethered, with one child gone, the pattern feathers. Flicking of fragments, the dancing dissolves, the embrace of custom is left unresolved. Nativity plays, but who is the angel? Who is the mage? Who's in the basket? What in the straw? Unwinding and broken now, shadows before. Widdershins, he turns again. The vignettes of childhood melt to no trace.
I must find the next stepping stone in this strange place.
ashes, or give sigh for sigh.
A new light has entered the building that couldn't quite come from our everyday sun. Rowland lost all sense of time many seasons or minutes or hours ago. The light that comes through the stained glass windows now is tinted with something sweet, like roses. The air is suddenly spring-like, feathered with a feeling of change. A keystone of life in this course we are charting are the voices of love at Painsweet departing.
I didn't expect to find my way to the next stepping stone so easily. I'm sure I'll find Ellen before long. What is happening here?
Oh, we're just having a final drink before we take our leave. Journeying we're going. The open road are calling. Don't tell the pastor. We've taken the ale from his cellar. Join us for a toast, lads.
Join us, yes.
You're toasting in the church?
Of course. Where else would we come to say our goodbyes? To the health of the company and the death of the Erlking.
Cheers!
Hey!
Don't say it so loud, Harry. He might hear you. Do you want to vanish into nothing too?
The Erlking. I will toast to that. I think he has my sister. Do you know how I can find him?
Take a different journey, child, I beg you. You don't want to go there. All this life ahead of you. And you want to skip to the end. I must go soon. I meant to leave yesterday fortnight ends. I'm walking the road to the cliffs of the coast and then onwards to Santiago. I've never gone alone. And now the moment comes, I find myself frightened. You could come with me, if you like.
I'll not leave thee, thou lone one, to pine on the stem. For the lovely are sleeping, go sleep thou with them. Thus kindly I scatter thy leaves o'er thy bed, while the mates of the garden lie senseless and dead.
More figures pass Rowland, and the air fizzes with the excitement that always begins a journey. There are soldiers with plumet helms, a politician in toga, a lady in crinoline. There is a young woman about to be married in the next village with a sweet little dog at her heels with a roan-speckled tuft, begging her not to go.
Roan-speckled? Is that you, Grim? Is this your before time?
But there is no answer. The more Rowland is surrounded by their stories, their hopes and fears, the more entranced he becomes by such a thought. A journey. A real adventure.
So soon may I follow when friendships decay, and through love's shining circle the gems drop away.
The once warm spring air contains a whispering chill. Swaying grave branches scatter pointed needles that silhouette through the window. The roan-speckled dog yapping at the maiden's feet seems to grow into a shadow, tall and hooded and sleek. Eyes don't settle on the space the church grim occupies. Rowland feels a shiver, like he only feels on St. Mark's Eve. It is a procession of those about to die.
What am I doing? I must take the story tithe and make my way beyond death, whatever that means, and find Ellen. I'm not scared of the Erlking, and I'm not getting distracted by things that aren't even real.
Where true hearts lie withered, and fond ones are flown. Oh, who would inhabit this sweet world
right, Mabel, promise. We get paid in advance, you know, and they've got this whole special postal system to make sure we stay in contact.
You look right nice and dashing, Gilbert Schuster, in that kind of uniform with that kind of hat. The kind of person a good girl might fall in love with.
Oh, well, that would be a shame.
What? Why?
Well, because I'd have to tell the girl that I've got someone very special at home.
Up to mighty London came an Irish lad one day, and all the streets were paved with gold, so everyone was gay, singing songs of Piccadilly, Strand and Leicester Square, till Paddy got excited and he shouted to them there. It's a long way to Tipperary, it's a long way to go, it's a long way to Tipperary, to the sweetest girl I know. Goodbye Piccadilly, farewell Leicester Square, it's a long, long way to Tipperary, but my heart's right there. Now Paddy wrote a letter to his Cornish Mabel, oh, saying if you don't receive it, write and let me know. And if I make mistakes in spelling, Mabel dear, said he, remember it's the pen that's bad, don't lay the blame on me. It's a long way to Tipperary, it's a long way to go, it's a long way to Tipperary, to the sweetest girl I know. Goodbye Piccadilly, farewell Leicester Square, it's a long, long way to Tipperary, but my heart's right.
Got it!
Where?
It's a bit of a shame, all this falling away. Into the forgetting, they said. But what comes next? In this life-shaped story, what am I to encounter now?
Dearly beloved, you present yourselves in the presence of God and of these Christian people to enter religiously into the most sacred and indissoluble of all human relations.
The bride swaying up the aisle is flushed with excitement. On the arm of her father, in a gown resembling many layers of cream dessert, she manoeuvres gently around clumps of confetti thrown by the overly enthusiastic toddling flower girl. Her sister's behind her, the future in four with family all around. The groom steals a glance behind. He holds back a tear.
How sweet are the flowers that grow by yon fountain, sweet are the cowslips that spangle the grove, more sweet are the breezes that blow o'er the mountain, but none are so sweet as the charms of my love.
Other human relations may be outgrown, or may be terminated at discretion. Only the hand of death can lawfully dissolve this.
The hill is dappled in autumn light. The weathered hands of widower and grieving woman are woven under the willow. A reading happiness for one final act of this grand stage of life. A little hope at newness at an age such as theirs. It was a merry group on the hill.
Weave him a garland, a fresh blooming garland of roses and lilies and daffodils. Weave him a garland, a fresh blooming garland, a garland I'll give to the love that I love.
Profane human legislation, striking at the foundations of social morality, provides for reckless and capricious divorce.
They're using the same words, but the scenes are eons apart. Time really is being mixed around, but funny how the words are the same.
What God hath joined together, let not man
put asunder.
On a moon-shadowed night, the giggles of the eloping bride and groom echo through the vaulting Gretna green found. They are both flushed with the joy of flight. The priest, bone-wearied by age, the hour, and the chill of the season, finds himself warmed by their passion. The ancient text unfurls its majesty, like a spell committing these two to the tradition of centuries.
The forming of this sacred and irrepealable tie, it is what you most desire.
The woman is pale, her eyes ringed with insomnia. The belly is ever so slightly rounded, just visible to hint at the young couple's impropriety. The man is shaking, looking much less suave than the confident character he had so casually inhabited 5 months since. Her father is pale, still white with the anger that burned heaven and earth to make this moment a reality.
Weave him a garland, a fresh blooming garland of roses and lilies and daffodils. Oh, weave him a garland, a fresh blooming garland, a garland I'll give to the lad that I love.
And that it may still be sacred and irrepealable in your eyes, when early enthusiasm has passed away, and when fancy or sense might tempt the heart to wander. You have come to seal your vows in the presence of God and of his witnesses.
The visions that had been moving so fast before Rowland slowed suddenly to wind and bend. The next scene shivers into reality.
Down in the vale where my sweetheart was walking, how happy I should feel to stand by him again. But if he should prove false, give his heart to some other, for me to sing pleasure, it would be in vain.
The blushing bride can barely take her eyes from the bulging codpiece of her soon-to-be husband. Obstructive, adorned and decorated as it was, for a young girl dancing on the brink of development, the possibilities it suggested were unfathomable. There were some in the congregation taking bets on whether her eyeline was closer to that, or to the groom's more refined parts.
And therefore I here require of you, and of these present, if ye know of any lawful ban or impediment, why, according to the laws of God and of the state, this marriage may not proceed, that ye here make it known.
I make it known. Please, someone object.
Who makes it known?
I do.
Why?
What do you mean, why? Is this what you want? To be sold off to someone so much older? A toy to be passed around and carried off?
What do you think I should want?
A life? The world? Anything? A chance to choose, at least. It can't be your story to just be a little figment in someone else's.
And why do you care?
I don't know. It matters to me somehow. The scenes, the stories, the memories, they matter. They all matter.
Words have power, you know. The same vows and intentions for over 5 centuries. They grow much larger than the sum of their parts and invoke a kind of magic. You'll be the last to witness this imprint. They're disappearing into the forgetting. I'll be gone soon too.
What's your name? Sorry, wrong question. I know they have power. What should I call you?
Rosaline.
I'm sorry, Rosaline. I don't know all about this story stuff, but you remind me of my sister. She's brave too, and fierce when protecting what she loves. I'd hate for her to marry someone who wouldn't recognise that, for her fire to be extinguished by neglect, to be forgotten.
You're assuming the end of my story, but my future husband is kind and considerate. and love grows. I know my life was happy, but the Erlking has taken the end. I no longer remember all of my story, and that forgetting frightens me more than I can say. I hide here, at marriage, in the comfort of words and of many hopeful intentions.
It must be a good end. It must. Once I finish the quest and can return to the right side of things, I'll look it up, Rosaline, and I could come back and remind and defend you, and you wouldn't have to be afraid anymore.
When a knight won his spurs in the stories of old, he was gentle and brave, he was gallant and bold. And though back into Storyland giants have fled, and the knights are no more, and the dragons are dead, are you intending to be my child? Win your knighthood spurs running to my rescue? This was a life that I chose, and I don't want defending. Sometimes we need to face our battles and fears alone. I know I'll be an absent space in the knowledge, little more than a name, a stone effigy, long before you return.
Not necessarily. I'll find my way through and be done in no time.
But to go on, you need the tithe from this keystone to present to the Erlking. And there is only one story left to take. You need me.
No. Surely there's something else. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
Remember me.
I'll remember you.
'Twas Berthrick's days of bold and brash, with Edba wifed by Offa kinged. Dreadful came the daunting shake, warning signs in wind and woe. It came by lightning, sheet and spike, like dragon fire of daunting flame, oft seen aloft, blazed in sky. Following famine, the gut-tight days, January hides the time before. Heathen ships abound the shore to seek or seed our land of green. Viking ships, vicious men, their road to Reeve, to Rach and Rue, for slain was he on seeing them. Then to church up came the chill, stinging hornets spread all sides, fearful wolves, rabid raised. Waste to house, waste to hope, and waste to bodies and trampled bone, to bird and beasts, to ox and sheep, to priests and holy companies. Polluted steps, poisoned plagues, altars dug, art destroyed. For 50 and 300 years great hope yet turned to grievousness. Fathers and forefathers for our green thick land has housed and homed. Judgment brought in sudden bout, transgressors woe, the total foe.
Rowland finds himself in a new scene, a half-held place, a gathering space. The threat is uncertain, time multiplied. Words ward off fear of what might be outside.
What is outside?
The Vikings attacking!
Bombs in the town! Zombie invasion!
Nuclear meltdown!
Rowland can't tell where or when this is, but one thing is for certain. At a time of danger, sanctuary is found within these familiar walls.
Edmund, they're coming. The thatch is aflame. The yew tree uprooted. Old man Fenton's boat is sunk and the geese are all dead. They broke the necks without a thought. A crack with their hands and they crumpled. The blood pooled and spattered. Sunlit. Sun dappled across all the paving stones.
Man the door, and bar the gate, and use more than standard oak. These walls have protected us before, they will do so again. Anything to hand, they must not get through. How did you escape?
I didn't.
No. Alfred, what happened? Where?
By the Great Hall. I was checking for stragglers, and one of them came at me. Wild the look in his eyes, Edwin. We can't beat that. He seemed almost disappointed I couldn't match him in the fight. It seemed like he wanted to die. We can't defeat those unafraid to die.
Oh, why did you leave the sanctuary, you fool? We were safe here, safe at least for a moment longer.
What does it matter? The Erlking's grip is stronger every hour. You feel it, Edwin. For all your stubbornness, I know you do. Tell me a story, Edwin. Tell me a new one. Or an old favourite. It don't matter.
I'm sorry, Elf. Oh, I'm so sorry that I don't remember one.
I do. One my sister likes so well. I know it from home, from the right side of things. Thousands of years after Albion, the giant, populated the island named for himself, the Trojan Brutus and other exiled warriors landed on the coast. They expected it to be uninhabited, just strokes of green on the map, ready to be tamed and cultivated. But instead, they found the island was full of unexpectedly tall foes. Giants. For months they fought, until finally Brutus killed the giant leader, Gogamok, and they soon drove the giants into the caves in the mountains on the edge of our world. For months they fought, until finally Brutus killed the giant leader, Gogamok, and they soon drove the giants into the caves in the mountains on the edge of our world. To this day, they linger there, unwilling to show their tall faces. Brutus, proud and celebrated by all who saw his skills, named the island after himself. And so, Britain came to be. Burd Allen tells it better.
Alfred?
Remember me when I am gone away, gone far away into the silent land, when you can no more hold me by the hand.
Nor I have turned to go, yet turning stay. Yet if you should forget me for a while, grieve not the vestige thought that once we had. Better by far you should forget and smile than that you should remember and be sad.
If a man live many years and rejoice in them all, yet let him remember the days of darkness, for they shall be many.
The scene shifts. We stand by the yew tree outside the main gate. Rain mists the shoulders of black-clad figures, smudged in the broad, soft strokes of abstraction. A priest speaks the heavy language of mourning.
Or ever the silver cord be loosed, or the golden bowl be broken, or the pitcher be broken at the fountain, or the wheel be broken at the cistern, then shall the dust return to the earth as it was, and the spirit shall return to God who gave it.
Something is wrong. Though the words are spoken, they hold none of the provoking, evocative power that shimmered so bright through the spell-like moments of marriage. The promise of invocation gives a little gasp as it leaves the lips, spasms, and then flutters to die in the grass. The figures are stilted in movement, a mechanized rotation that holds no intention.
Commit this to the ground, earth to earth, ashes to ashes, dust to dust.
Rowland has the first handful of earth. Taking it, he approaches the once soft, overturned soil, now muddied beneath death-kiss rain. There are no faces here. There are shuffling feet, hands that scatter soil, sweet trinkets, roses. One drops a ball. It is a strange, gleaming thing. It reminds him of the one he shared with Ellen. But this is old and worn, a fading yellow.
Is this her grave? I'm here at the end of life, at the end of the story, alone. What now? Where are you, Ellen? How can I continue onwards? There are no stories left.
Change and decay, look bleak, I must confess. Ills have no weight, and 'tis no bitterness. Where is death's sting? Where, grave, thy victory? In life and death beyond abide with me.
No stories. That means we must be close. If the Erlking is the magnet for memories and lives beyond death, no wonder this, the scene closest to death, was drained dry first. But how to move beyond? Does beyond mean worse? Or... Erlking? Show yourself.
Or
What?
with
My whole worldwide wandering? I saw them and I knew them all, and yet, dauntless the slughorn to my lips I set, and blew
Childe Rowland to the dark tower cave.
Come out. I do not fear you. Ellen?
By bow and fan, I smell the blood of the Christian man.
Be he dead, be he living, with my brand I'll clash his hands, fry his hand pan.
Strike, then bogle of hell, if thou darest.
Very good, Childe Rowland. Very good. You've learned to play in the realm of story, I see.
Ellen? Ellen, where are you keeping my sister?
You know I have
I hope for you.
Watching
Watching
your
your
movement through the right side of things.
You
You
seem
seem so set on the mathematical binary of quadratic binocularism. But
you have helped me bring in the last of the stories, to keep them locked here, safe and secure.
Come,
Come, child, come here. Empty yourself of the burden of stories of your time. They belong here, where they won't be hurt, won't be misused and misquoted and misunderstood.
But will they be forgotten?
What do you want
here,
here,
child?
Childe Rowland? None of this mattered to you before. You beautiful, strange anomaly, given story-fied title of child.
Let me take what you never wanted. Leave as plain Rowland, and leave the stories with me. Safe and secure.
Safe and secure. Well, that's what... Ellen, is that you?
Rowland?
The Erlking was you. You've been taking the stories. Ellen, I know you love them, but there's no hope of recovery when you disintegrate this world into a place of forgetting. You are destroying the very thing you wish to preserve. Rebuild it and make a better world. A new world of reimagining. It's not too late.
Reimagining.
No one values them.
No one understands
We're told again and again they have no place in the right side of things. No matter, no matter, no matter, no matter. Collected and bound, here they are safe, they are sound, they will endure. Ellen does not exist in the place of a sister.
You have the protector.
Protection is nothing if you stifle the object of your love. For me to reach you, Rosaline lost everything. Mary is forgotten. Grim and Gargle are husking shells of what they once were. Mabel lost Gilbert, Alfred too. Ellen, Burd Ellen, I can't lose you.
Rowland?
Remember the story, Ellen? The one you told me before vanishing to this magical, strange world. About Brutus and the giant of Albion. It came to me at a time when all other words failed. The stories are magic. They can soothe the hurt that no other cure can reach, and they deserve value and status and prominence. Burying it away only makes the world emptier, sadder. Sister, I love you. You were right, and now it's time to let them go.
Have you ever pressed rewind on an old VHS? The world judders for a second and then springs into action. The house rebuilds at blinding speed, the falling man flies, and death recedes. So was the world to Childe Rowland and Burd Ellen, caught in the whirlwind of back time, of unsnatched bricks and unfallen beams, a building collapsing and rebuilding, constructing and deconstructing as the stories break free and release to the winds. A whisper of face. The reimagining begins.
He's dead, Mabel. He's not coming back.
A true name. Your given name.
Blood pooled and spattered. Sunlit.
A yapping young thing with a roan speckled tuft.
The most sacred and indissoluble.
Upon this rock I will build my church.
When a knight won his spurs in the stories of old.
As reality reforms to the reimagining, Childe Rowland and Burd Ellen catch a glimpse of the land before stories. A great yew tree stands proud on the hill soon endowed. There is no church, no building of might. An empty land, and yet not quite. The area sings, it hums with words, this sky-wide country of messaging birds. The past is not yet spent, and the future is long gone. Thousands of years of memory, community and culture bloom there on the fertile land. They begin now to seep into the earth, enriching roots, winding through grasses and growing shoots. But soon, two figures stand in the lifting light. Brother and sister, siblings on the brink of transition.
This is the right side of things.
Their side of things. Dawn falls across the horizon, fresh and rosy-fingered. The air is a first blush, cockcrow, like the crack of a new story across old stones. They have known this place their whole lives. It must be years until sunbright.
Both look at things a little longer than they should, as if there is something to see beyond their shape and colour.
They do it with heather and roses and honeysuckle breeze. They do it with parish churches and the unexplained shadows in the landscape.
Behind them, the church stands as it always has, rooted, composed, tall and restrained. If they had taken a moment, they might have caught a flicker, noticed the fragments of flittering stories on the wind, murmurating, illustrating the new imagining. They'll continue with life and forget in the main, but neither go round a church widdershins again.
go, just wink.
When a knight won his spurs in the stories of old, he was gentle and brave, he was gallant and bold. And though back into storyland giants have fled, and the knights are no more, and the dragons are dead. When a knight won his spurs in the stories of old, he was gentle and brave, he was gallant and bold. With a shield on his arm and a lance in his hand, for truth and for valour he rode through the land. No charger have I, and no sword by my side, yet still to adventure and battle